When a time-traveling gorilla Grodd goes to the past in hopes of recruiting a younger version of the Legion of Doom, only the modern-day Justice League can stop them, but are they very much in over their heads? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman, Superman, World's Finest Annual 2025 issue number 1, a continuation of the We Are Yesterday crossover, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, as we join this brand new issue, we check on in with Gorilla Grodd, who thanks to Martian Manhunter's stolen power was able to quantum leap back into the body of his much younger self. In record time, Grodd was not only able to reconvene the original Super Friends version of the Legion of Doom, but he also built them a version of their base in record time. Obviously, Joker, Luthor, and the other assorted baddies are skeptical as to why Grodd has sought to convene them all right here, right now. Hell, his whole "I am from the future and am piloting my younger body" is a lot to swallow even in the crazy world of comic books, right? Grodd also doesn't help his case either by opening up by saying that when you break it down, the Legion of Doom is made up of a lot of losers, a lot of failure. Oh, don't worry, Grodd includes himself in that summation too, and he says that things are only going to get worse in the future because where Grodd is from, the Justice League has become truly unlimited. Bigger with more members and more reach than ever before. Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom is positively in shambles, many of its members either having completely reformed or fallen from their former place of prominence. This is why Grodd has returned now to make it so that his fellow villains don't waste the intervening years, wasting away on schemes and plans that go nowhere. Instead, if they support Grodd and his brand new master plan, then they will be able to completely cut the heart out of the League in the future while they're still young and in their prime. To do this, though, they're going to have to pull off the heist of the century. Well, actually, several heists to be exact. All to steal important time travel devices from across the DC universe to allow them to make the big trek to the present to fight the JLU one-on-one. Though, as Grodd admits in his internal monologue, this plan is really only a smokescreen. He has no intention to put the Legion of Doom over, and this is, as it's always been, about crowning himself top dog in the future, or I guess top ape in this situation, but I digress. Now from there we transition on over to the titular Batman and Superman, who are making short work of loser villain Moon Man. It's after that the World's Finest end up getting word on several high-profile break-ins taking place all over the country, one at the Flash Museum and one at the Atom's office. It doesn't take the heroes very long to figure out what exactly is going on here. The bad guys have their sights set on famous time machines, be it the Flash's cosmic treadmill or Dr. Palmer's time pool. Batman and Superman decide to rope in the rest of the Justice League for this major operation. They figure if they split into smaller strike teams, they'll be able to cover more ground. Then of course you have Robin, who is also tagging along, who in a very fun little gag says that he's old enough and mature enough to run his own strike team. Batman also makes reference of a special ringer too, who they are going to have to call in to help save the day on this one, but more on him in a minute. Now from there we transition on over to Central City, where Lex Luthor, Captain Cold, and Bizarro are attempting to steal the Flash's cosmic treadmill, only they're not really stealing it, because as Grodd astutely points out, to actually steal any of these items would end up causing a time paradox. Instead, the plan is to actually overwork these devices so that they can end up stealing their precious tachyons. Precious resources that will allow them to make the time jump at just the right moment. Oh, but that's not all the planning ahead Gorilla Grodd is doing either, as the true key to his plan actually lays with Pythoness. Now again, we've seen this character already in the bigger group shots of the previous issues in this crossover. I actually jumped to the conclusion that she must have just been Barbara Ann Minerva out of her costume. But no, she's actually a brand new magic-using character that Mark Waid has invented for this story. In fact, it's heavily implied that her and Grodd have a pre-existing relationship that actually reminds me a lot of Tala from the JLU cartoon. Also, Pythoness is apparently dead in the future, so Grodd promises to make sure she'll live if she helps him here and now. Now from there we see how the rest of the robberies go. Joker and Scarecrow try and steal the time ray from Dr. Nicholas, who was actually an old friend of Thomas Wayne. Crane is surprisingly mouthy in this issue and doesn't understand why he just can't shoot the damn time ray if he went through all the trouble to steal it, and shoot it he does, ultimately hitting Robin with it. But again, don't worry, we'll end up circling back to this one later, I promise. Elsewhere, Sinestro and Black Manta attempt to steal the time pool protected by the Atom. They end up getting stopped by the Justice League's wildcard Plastic Man, who just has an absolute ball making fun of all these United villains. Sadly though, the bad guys really do end up having the last laugh as poor Eel gets himself thrown into the time pool and turned into, well, human spaghetti. Not to worry though, he's Plastic Man, I'm sure he'll end up being fine. In the end, the bad guys end up gathering all the tachyons they need and even stopping the Flash and Superman dead for a few seconds. This is also where you're probably wondering to yourself, wait, if the villains did all of this in the past, how do the heroes not remember that this happened in the future? Well, there's actually a good answer for that, and it's where Pythoness comes in. She casts a powerful spell that ends up doctoring the Justice League's memory. They remember this adventure, they remember stopping the villains, only instead of them thinking that they stopped the entire Legion of Doom, they just end up thinking the Cheetah was responsible for all of this. Ah, see, now it makes sense why I thought Pythoness was actually Cheetah. She literally took her place in the future. Of course, one problem that still isn't resolved is Robin. Scarecrow shot him with the time ray and he hasn't come back yet. Batman's not too worried because, as he knows, well, Robin got lost in time during like the first arc of this series. I'm sure he'll be back. Only little does the Dark Knight know, Robin has actually found himself flung into the far future where he ends up meeting modern-day Batman as well as his older self, Nightwing. This also means, as the comic comes to a close, that Robin might be the only one to actually help the modern-day heroes defeat Grodd in the retro Legion of Doom. And so that was Batman Superman World's Finest annual 2025 issue number 1, and it was a fun little issue. I don't know if I really needed a whole annual dedicated to explaining how the Legion of Doom was able to make the jump to the future without causing any time paradoxes, but I know this is the sort of logic thing that drives other comic readers absolutely crazy. So props for Mark Waid for actually explaining it. Then of course you have Dan Mar's excellent art, and it's always really nice to get to see him draw so many different characters, both heroes and villains. Then of course we have the big answer to the other hanging question I know many people have been asking, and that is, why does Gorilla Grodd think a younger version of the Legion of Doom will succeed in the future when they've failed so many times before? Well, for one, they've had literal years to plan for all of this, and two, it's not really Grodd's final plan. They're really just acting as an elaborate smokescreen for whatever ends up coming next, whatever that might be. But you know what, I still am very much invested, and I'm excited to see how all of this ends up shaking out, especially now that we have Robin here acting as a wild card. Overall, I think I'd give this issue a 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good, maybe not as good as the two issues that preceded it, but very solid. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way, everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.